If you want to ensure that you're going to overpay for the next project that you embark on, click off this video. Absolutely do not watch this video. If you like just spending money and kind of rolling the dice and gambling, this ain't going to be a good fit for you. But if you're interested to find out what are the 3 big blunders or mistakes that I see lots and lots of homeowners make that I absolutely don't want you to make, and you know what, I've made them myself, then stick around because I got a good one for you. Okay, so what's going on? My name is Bobby K. I'm a professional landscape designer and general contractor, and I love to help people who are struggling to visualize what their landscaping can be. That is what we do. But this video, it really can go amongst any kind of contractor project sphere, because I'm gonna give you out those 3 different areas that you really need to know about so that you're protected, so that you don't overpay, so you don't get taken advantage of. Quick story is, I'm someone who general contracts out a lot of work, and even someone like me who's been in the field for a long time kind of stubs his toe every now and then. I recently hired a pool company to go and relocate some pool equipment, and they quoted me out $1,500. Pretty reasonable. We were doing all the digging. They were just gonna move it, plumb it in, blah, 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 be done. And then about a month later, I get a surprise. I get a $6,000 bill, which is 4x what I was quoted. And I'm scratching my head because they didn't call me. They didn't email me. They didn't let me know any particular reason outside of, oh, things just cost a little more and it took us longer to do. No heads up, no nothing. That's the kind of guys, that's the kind of contractors that give us all a bad taste in our mouth and make us very scared to hire somebody, and I don't want that for you. So that's why this video is going to be so good for you, because you're going to be able to vet out some of those kinds of guys, get them out of there so you can have an amazing project experience. And when you're sitting out in your backyard or wherever it is, say you hire somebody to paint the house, that when you look at it, you're happy and you don't think about how you got taken advantage of. So the first blunder, the first mistake that I see that I want you to be aware of kind of leads me over to the art of war. This is a quote. The battle is won before is the key word here, it's ever fought. Sun Tzu. The reason I love this quote is it taps into what I think is very important, is you need to plan before you even start all this stuff. Particularly, get a design. Make sure you understand what you're paying for, what it's gonna look like. It's so crucial. If you jump into a big project and you're not really clear of what all you're paying for, that is a big red flag, and you don't wanna put yourself in that situation, because on big problems or projects, problems, they're gonna happen, you know? Little things are gonna come up and you're gonna need to think on the fly or make adaptations. And if you don't even have a plan to go off, then there is an opportunity for, well, I thought it was gonna be this way. Well, I thought it was gonna be this way, and you kind of butt heads. It doesn't usually get there, but it can if you don't have that. A design is a way for you to set expectations, have clarity, and see into the future. This is what we're paying for. This is what it's gonna look like. How awesome is that? Remember this quote, super important. Let's go on to number 2. All right, number 2 is not researching companies that you hire. That seems pretty obvious, doesn't it? Of course you're gonna research. That's all we do nowadays, is we get a bunch of information and sometimes we act and sometimes we don't. But usually where do you start? You usually start on Google, right? Google is great. I think Google should be the benchmark. Somebody should have at least, I'd say like a 4.2 up to a 5-star rating, and that's respectable. It also comes down to how many reviews they have. If they've got a 4.2 but they got 170 reviews, I think that has a lot more weight than somebody who's got a 4.8 but they only got 3 reviews, right? Doesn't mean much. So Google, it's a benchmark, it's a start. But here's where you peel back the onion a little bit. I want you to go and check out their Facebook. I want you to check out companies' house. I want you to check out if they do Pinterest, if they do YouTube. YouTube, man, talk about being vulnerable. I'm literally standing here talking into a camera. That's a vulnerable spot. It's a weird feeling. But you know what? If somebody is willing to do that and put themselves out there like that, 9 out of 10 times, that's who they are. And if you like that person, if you kind of vibe with them, you feel they're being authentic, they're probably going to be that way throughout the project and throughout any conversation you're going to have with them. So When going back to Facebook, here's what I want you to look for. Do they post their recent projects? Have they built community? Do they thank their clients? Do they put stuff out there and little videos that show you that they go out on site and they give you out a tip? They're giving out free content. That's the kind of company you want to work with. Someone who is passionate, somebody who really cares about their clients and wants the best for them. Reputation is everything. And if you're not out there, or you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not branding yourself, you're missing the mark. When you're talking to a client, they want to know that you care and that you're doing that. And this is a big indicator. Start at Google, then go on to Facebook, and then check out if they have any other kind of communities, if they have a YouTube channel. I think that that is so darn important. And if you want to peel back the onion a little bit more, let's get into number 3. So number 3 is hands down my favorite. This is the gold right here. This is the biggest thing that you can do. Not testing the company that you're going to hire. Here's how you do it. An email is an obvious thing, right? But let's see, how do they respond to an email that you sent? How long does it take? Do they check? And do they make little errors in their email? Meticulous things like that means that maybe they just and they go through it and they go on to the next email. Well, maybe that's how they tackle their projects. When I put out an email, I try at least my best to not make any grammatical errors and make sure the sentences go together, kind of proofread, because that's how I am. I'm meticulous. I care about things. If you see a bunch of that kind of stuff, that's number 1. Number 2 is, how about an on-site visit to actually see the projects that the company, puts together? Okay, but here's the kicker. Here's the real tip for you. Contact their future or their past client. Set up an appointment, but do not have your contractor, your future contractor, hopefully you're on the right track, go with you. That way you can ask as many questions as you want. You can see the product, you can see everything, and you can let all the air out, any concerns you have. How did they handle any problems? Were they reactive, or did they step back and come with a solution? How's their communication? How is anything with this particular contractor that you're considering hiring? These are the kinds of little things that you need to be doing. You need to do all these little steps before you pull the trigger and hire somebody, because if you don't, all of a sudden you could let one of those guys like I hired, who tried to charge me $6K, slip through the cracks and get you. And that's not a fun experience. I don't want that for you. I absolutely don't want that for you. It's easy to be here on the camera and kind of talk the talk, but do I walk the walk? I want to share something with you. Go watch this video right here. We made a boo-boo that cost me almost $4 grand, okay? Did I get mad about it and did I stiff the person, or did I actually take care of it, and how did I go about it? Go check it out. This is how a real company operates. This is Bobby K saying creation is everything, so go out and create. See you on the next video.